Hello, kiddies. Oh yeah, boy. Hello. Welcome to another YouTube video with myself. My name is Paddy. I'm a director, shooter, lover here in the beautiful city of London town. Let's talk about a video I made. It's this one.
I got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter beats got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, no ambition, flow inside my DNA.
Strap in, kids, because this is the inaugural episode of Kinetic Editing. Yes, that's right, Kinetic Editing, where I take you through something ridiculous and ADHD riddled, with lots of sound design, lots of fast moving shots and things, and sort of explain to you how I did it. Not really how, this might be more of a why. And also it's gonna be long. So strap in, short, sharp, fast editing, edited on site for Williams Formula team. This was a hype video, pre-qualifying of the Austrian Grand Prix. Now, I think what I'm going to do is just jump into the timeline and we are just going to go through step by step. At some places I'll explain how I've done something, some places I'll explain why I've done it, and hopefully give you some tools to take away and try and do similar things. This doesn't just apply for the world of automotive. I shoot a lot of sports stuff as well. Cue that. So kinetic editing can be used for many disciplines, and it just depends what sort of thing you like, what sort of style you like. Do you like being very big? What's going on? Or do you like it more calm and a bit quieter? If you like calm and quiet, this might not be the video for you. Stick around anyway. You might learn something. Just a little point on kinetic editing and some of my favourite kinetic editors. This sort of flashy ADHD Instagram reel style, I don't think is from flashy ADHD Instagram reels. I think it's actually been around for quite a while. Films in the late 90s, early 2000s, directors like Tony Scott, Ridley Scott's potentially cooler brother. Big hero of mine, he does a ton of this. If you watch any of his intro sequences, it's full-blown crash zooms, exposure flashes, wipes, lots of sound design. It's all very like, whoa. And he didn't have an Instagram page that he was pinging reels to. He was just making sick movies. But obviously in today's age of narrowing attention spans, this appears to do quite well. So we will milk it. By God, we will milk it. Enough spiel. Let's jump into a timeline. I'm literally just going to go through it, chat to you about what I've done, why I've done it. Here we go. So, I think the thing with kinetic editing, the thing with these sorts of edits is you're basically, in terms of structure, they're called flash cuts, which are these sequences like this, where there's a lot happening. You're getting very short clips with a lot of camera movement in them already and just bashing them together. It kind of is as simple as that. So in terms of when you're out on the ground, I don't have a camera. Hang on. We do have a camera. Here's a Super 8 camera because I'm a fucking cool guy. When you're shooting for your flash cut sequences, what I like to do is kind of do it all in chunks. So if you're, let's say you're out at a race weekend, Formula One, whatever it is, in your head, shoot 20 minutes, 15, 10, doesn't even have to be that long, of stuff that you know is going to go in a flash cut sequence. Now, this can be regular shutter speeds, it can be lower shutter speeds, drag shutter speeds, like 1/10, 1/15, or it can be your regular 1/50, or 180 degrees for those of you that are actual proper cinema professionals, unlike myself. But basically, it's very key that you do have a lot of camera movement in it. You can't really fake this with speed RAM. You basically can't fake the energy. So, get your camera and literally just go. I'm not joking. That is all you're going to be doing. One other little tip here, get yourself some freaky filters. So that's actually a filter with a crack in it, but that's good because it's freaky. Halo filter does weird stuff like that. This is the best one though. Basically just a split diopter. So one end is out of focus, one end is in focus. Put that in front of the lens and move that around with your hand, and then move the camera around like that. Then you basically got a bunch of footage to work with for your flash cut sequences. I'm just going to say it again, camera movement is so important. We are bringing the energy together in the edit by bashing everything together, but you kind of can't fake that, like real loads of wipes, loads of movement, loads of this, that, and the other. Apologies if I jump ahead and jump back. This kind of, is like a live stream for me. I'm just gonna like talk, and it could be like 45 minutes long, so I apologise, but maybe not, maybe you might like it. Get yourself a delicious tin of Guinness. No other beers are available, and no, they don't sponsor me just yet. And just watch this video. Jumping ahead into our project, I think project layout is very, I find it very key. I find it very key to have a bit of structure to then create chaos from structure. So what I like to do is have a timelines folder. I have a selects folder, SLX, clever, right? I will then have a wipe selects timeline. What I will then end up having is like a bunch of different timelines with a bunch of different stuff going on. So this is some W matches. That's just matching a letter across a bunch of W's that I shot. Track selects, so these are selects from the track, and actually a lot of these are wipes as well. So you can see these are all bashed together, but I will give you an example on the track select. Basically, you want to take a clip and you just start going through it. You'd be like, I just want one little bang, 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 bang. Clip it there. Command B, clip it there, Command B. There we got that. What I might do now, because we've shot this at a low shutter speed, is Command R to speed it up. Let's give it like a serious amount of movement, just, wow. There is a wipe select. It's gone, it's gone. These should not be long. How many frames is that? 1, 2, 3. That's 3 frames. These should not be long. Bang. So once you've done that, and you do it a bunch of times, you do it a bunch of times like this, you know, you got bang, 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 bang. I'll then, and I've been slightly not that organized on this one, it's a little bit chaotic, but I will probably color coordinate these. Clip color, right click, clip color, lime. I'll then take them all here, delete the gaps. There is actually, to do all this at once, you can go help, delete gaps, or you can go to edit, down to delete gaps. I never remember where it is, so I just go to help, delete gaps, and that'll compress all of your selects together. And then, when I come back to it, as I have done earlier, here's one we made earlier, I then should just have a ton of wipes. There's a hyperlapse in there as well, and that's just me swinging the camera around, chopping it to sort of like 3, 5, 8 frames. That's not prescriptive, just do whatever you feel is right, but I would err on the side of shorter is better. Because what we're going to end up doing is bashing together a bunch of wipes from 5 different locations, 5 different sets of shooting these wipes. And that's going to make the core of our little wipe sequences that we're going to drop in throughout the edit. So you got wipe, and then you got a bit of context and interest and stuff. You need to show off your drivers, the car, where we are, blah, blah, blah. But then you need to bring people back in and be like, hey, don't leave this Instagram reel, stay here, motherfucker. So you do that with more flash cut sequences using these wipe selects. So I now have got a bunch of these, and again you can see this is where this is coming in, the split diopter filter. So that is in front of the lens here, and I'm moving that independently from the camera. So that's having its own little funky playtime, and the camera is also having its own little funky playtime. But yeah, I can't really say much more than it is as simple as winging the camera around. Does tend to help to be on a slightly tighter focal length. So if you're on a zoom lens, let's get to the end of that zoom, 70mm, 100mm, because that's going to compress everything. All of your movement's going to appear quicker. However, if we are on a very wide lens, whatever you want to do, you want to get as close to the action as possible. So if you're going to run along the ground, like we are here, that's on the end of a gimbal, on this lens, 10mm. You want that literally to be skimming the floor if you can. For wide things, the closer you can get movement to the lens, the quicker it will feel. If everything's far away from the lens, you're not going to get any speed. And what do we need to have in camera, boys and girls? Yes, that's right, it's speed. We need speed in the camera. We cannot fake the speed all that well in post-production. But again, you only want to use 3 frames of this. If it's too long, it's just like, we know, if you see that, you're like, I know what you're doing there. You're just running along with the cat like blah, blah. Whereas if it's 1, 2, 3 frames, if it's just wah, and then something else, and then something else, and something else, all of it together combines for the feeling. And remember, that is what we are trying to evoke at any time when we are making videos, is feeling. You want people to go, wow, I feel like I'm going very fast. That's very exciting. I feel excited. I'm going to give this brand all of my money. I've no idea where we got to, but that's a little bit on wipe selects, how you want to build out structure your timeline with multiple timelines. Then got some hyperlapse selects. We'll come on to these in a minute. We got our day 3 selects here. Everything on the bottom of the timeline here, these are all yet to be selected. Everything I've pulled up, that is a select, and then it will get pulled into here, and then I've sort of reselected from the selects. So I now know that if I want, this is everything from day 3 of the Friday. You start sort of building these timelines out, and when you're coming to your edit, you're like, oh, I know we shot a lot of Alex in the garage on Friday, and I know I've already made all those selects, so now when I come back into day 3, it's just all the good stuff of Alex. Again, there's our split diopter filter getting used there for a bit of action, a bit of movement. Like, you want to, just movement. Movement is so key. Just keep the camera moving. Keep the camera moving, keep stuff happening in front of it. Textures, light, like weird shit. That's how you kinetically edit, because it makes the edit so much easier. Just doing like 10 clips with 5 frames each in a row, going blah, 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 like that's not enough. There needs to be movement organically in the camera. Contrary to my last point, movement or extreme stillness, and get very tight. I like contrast. I think contrast is key in every part of filmmaking. Sound, music, lighting, shot creation. If you're going to go crazy and you want people to feel movement, go crazy and have them feel movement. If you want people to be slow and feel emotion, go as slow as you possibly can. Get in nice and tight, get some eyeballs, get some freaking, just get in there tight, well tight, and then come out wide. Contrast. Always be thinking about contrast, kids. I feel like I'm losing my mind here. Okay, cool. I'm digressing loads here. Apologies. I did tell you it's going to be long, so here we are. Okay, so moving along in the timeline. This is what we've got. If we're going frame by frame, we've got 1 frame here, which actually has my crutch of the last few years, which is a white solid with a difference blending mode. So without that, it looks like that. With it, it looks like that, where you're basically difference blending mode on white effectively just inverts everything below it. All of the colors are inverted. And it kind of gives it this weird, if I put it over like a person. Oh gosh, don't know what's happened there. So that's what it looks like over Mr. Helbon. Bit odd. But again, you would only use it as a flash. So there, it's cool. It's cool there. You're like, oh, whoa. Enough's happened where your eye can catch, your eye catches, there's a bit of color change bottom right, like something's happened. It hasn't just been a flash of white. There's a little bit more to it than that. But anyway, so that's what's happening there. Got a flash over one of my wipe selects, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames, plus a frame that's got the difference blend mode on the white solid. So we're like, and again, look, we've got this is the split diopter doing its magic here. We're f***ing up the image. That's the other key, is like, try and avoid a totally clean image. I mean, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of making videos. I don't know what I'm f***ing talking about. I'm just winging it. You can do literally whatever you want, kiddies. But I like to f*** it up. And again, if you're in doubt as well, that's the other thing. A great friend of mine, who's a very good designer and great photographer. Hello, Adam, if you're watching. Hello, we should get a beer soon. He always said, if in doubt, f*** it up. And that was with relation to design, but I think it's so relevant to everything creative. I think photography, film, music. I think if you're like, oh, don't know about this, just go left field. Chuck something weird in. Chuck something really weird in. Just be like, what if we can't see any of the frame other than the final little few centimeters on the right? What about that? For like a couple of shots. Be like, yeah, let's try it. Why not? Okay, so then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames again, and again, the whole time, my camera is going, rah, rah, I'm shaking it like a crazy person. Split diopter again, interest, we've got interest. If I wasn't moving the camera, there would be way less interest. If I didn't have the split diopter, there'd be less interest. If I wasn't moving the split diopter and the camera, there'd be less interest. So we are just going for maximum interest on these little quick shots. Right, now we're into a hyperlapse. And again, this is only a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's an 8-frame hyperlapse with, again, our flash, our white solid difference blend mode flash. So we've got 1 frame of it, 2 frames of it under the F1 hyperlapse. We've got 1 frame of it under the Williams. That's a good tip on moving between hyperlapses or just moving between shots in these wipe sections. Use that white flash, that solid white color with a difference blend mode. Use that because it's gonna, it just, instead of going from one thing to the next, it goes from one thing to the next with a bit of a hit, a bit of a like, whoa, what's going on here? And we're bang, bang. Let's pause to discuss hyperlapses. So, hello 2011. Yes, we're still doing hyperlapses. I hope you're not too angry that we haven't figured out a different way to enter into new parts of the world, but they're awesome. I used to do my hyperlapses in the traditional sense, which is taking a photo. You line up your point of interest in the middle of your frame, take a photo, a couple of steps forward, take another photo, a couple of steps, blah, 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 blah. Especially at events, and not even at events, even when I just don't have time. I'm just a lazy you know? I'd rather do a hyperlapse and then have time to have a beer. I'd love to, you know, not have to spend more time on stuff. I'd like to spend less time on stuff. I'd like to do better in less time. That's obviously not the way to think, kids. You should obviously put as much effort in at all times. But there's just something with hyperlapses where if you're taking a bunch of photos, you then got to pull them out into some sort of editor, take them out of a RAW format, edit them. You've then got they're like crazy high res because they're images versus shooting onto a video sensor, and then you got to like match the colors, and it's just all a bit of a faff. Whereas I know this is the same camera I've shot everything else with. The color grade is going to match fine. You just slap it on, you're like, great, done. So these days, I just walk with a gimbal. Again, trying to keep the subject in the middle of the frame as best possible. All we're doing is walking round. Let's put this into a better resolution so everyone can see it properly. Walking around, keeping that Austrian Grand Prix as central as we possibly can. Now, you might be thinking, Patrick, this looks very, very stable. And you would be right, kid. When I do my hyperlapses, in DaVinci anyway, go into the Fusion tab, Shift Space, that's going to bring up this little dialog box. We're going to go to Tracker, the bottom one here, stick that into your, whatever this is called, I don't know, like I said, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Now, you're going to want a bit of contrast. Stuff with crosses is good, so like, actually, that little, the whole of the R will work well, and it's kind of central. So put your IntelliTracker into there. Now, I don't know if Resolve's non-paid has the tracker, probably doesn't, so you might have to pay for it. Sorry. Come over here, hit go. That's going to track it round. Look at this little dialog box on the bottom right, just to make sure it's not slipping away. If it does slip away, just go back a few frames, do it again, restart it. There's so many people way better on the internet telling you how to do this than me, so go look at all of their stuff and ignore me. Come over to Operation, Match Move, Background Only, that's what BG means. Now, but Patrick, we've got some holes in the footage. You are correct, because it's stabilizing it around that central tracked point, and we haven't got enough frame to work with, so it's moving it. Shift spacebar once more, transform the little XF one, and we're just going to come to size it up, move it back into the middle. You may need to keyframe this center X and Y point. Again, loads of people do this way better than I do, so go talk to them. And then you have got that totally tracked really, really well. Now you can Command R and bring it down to a faster speed, bang, like that. This is what it would look like from earlier. I then have spent money on a thing called Real Smart Motion Blur, and that's what's on here. So you're getting a little bit of motion blur around the edges, which just grounds it a little bit more into the reality that we are moving very quickly around this thing. If it's clean and sharp, it's not going to look as quick. But if you've got some motion blur in it, people will be like, wow, we're rotating around this Austrian Grand Prix F1 sign very quickly. Indeed. I will then have a select timeline with all the hyperlapses in it, so then you can go from bang, 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 wang, wah, ba, ba, ba. What I like to do, as you might have seen there, is do a rotation and then just a straight up walk into. And you don't need to do more than one. Just like, once you've got it, you've got it. Be like, great, walk around it, walk into it, done. Walk around it, walk into it. That's up the length of the paddock, walk around it, bang, bang. Ah, now I've put in some crash zooms into my hyperlapses selects. How very naughty of me. There's some other cool stuff you can do. Crash zooms, wah, wah. Again, speed, motion, kinetics. Would the word kinetic editing contains kinetics? Kinetic stuff, I don't know. Kinetic shots feature in kinetic edits. So, just movement. As much movement as you can muster. Back in, where are we going? Oh, there's too many timelines open. Cool, so we've got bang, bang, bang. Flashes and flashes. Great. So there is our first little flash cut sequence. And how long has it lasted? 1 second and 17 little seconds. Milliseconds? That is the nature of kinetic editing. Is you're going through quite a lot of effort and doing quite a lot of movement to ultimately chop down all of the clips to very small clips and bashing them together. But again, like, we're not, in theory, we've got 4 clips here. We've got the crazy wiping shots from the track. We've got a wiping shot from the garage. We've then got 2 hyperlapses back to back. Oh, and that's the crash zoom. Here we go. Look, that's what I was showing you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 frames of a crash out. And you can barely even, I think it's because my laptop's lagging, but like, whoa, it's a bit subliminal. That's the other thing that the white difference blend mode solid can do for you, is like, it really makes it, when you go from that to that, like it pops out. And because it's just flashed up, it's like, oh, my brain thinks it's seen the Austrian Grand Prix there. Now we're just into normal stuff. This is kind of, but again, we're into normal stuff for a couple of seconds. 2, 3, 4, so like, you know, there's a 1, 2, there's a 1 second clip, there's a 1 second clip, and then we're back into more flash, 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 wah, ba, ba, ba. Let's look at what's happening here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames, 4 frames. 4 frames, 5 frames of back out on the track, gimbal 10mm, rotating the roll of the camera again, just trying to add little bits of shape, little bits of movement. You could probably do that in post as well. Have I done it in post? No, that was in camera roll. Again, look at this. It's just a board. It's a board with numbers on it. But when you start to bring in that split diopter and do some weird stuff, like, you can't even see the board now. I'll be shaking the camera, I'll be shaking that split diopter, and it just makes that shot far more interesting now. Again, like, how long is that clip? It looks like 3 frames. 1, 2, 3 frames. And all we're doing is light off, light on. A point on this, again, just trying to add, I will have probably been sitting there going, even that's not interesting enough. Like, something needs to happen there. We're in these flash cut sequences. It can be a bit weird. It can be a bit non-real. Basically, what this technique is, so you're getting the highlights are kind of, they're not even blooming, they're raying. You're getting light rays coming off of the highlights. Let's do it to Carlito here. If we go Option or Alt and S, add a new node. We're going to go to here. We're going to go to Light Rays. Light Rays. Wow, it's going to look crazy, but that's fine. Just kind of set it the way you want it. If we go at an angle, you can then move these around, stick them wherever you want to. I mean, it looks obviously terrible on this. I probably wouldn't do it for that, but that's what's happening in these shots here. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Again, like, we're getting movement from, like, we're shooting movement. That is one of the mechanics. One of the mechanics shoving the jack under the front of the car. Like it's kinetic. We are seeing kinetic things happening. Wheel changes. Well, bang, bang, bang. Like that's all. And again, we're not. Sorry. And again, we aren't lingering on these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 frames. And we're getting there on the action. Like that is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames. And it is as we're ramming into the wheel, into the car. You just need movement, energy. If you are not filming movement, you need to create the movement. Now, if you're filming movement and you're creating movement, good Lord, you're onto a winner, because that's what's happening here. I'm shaking the camera around whilst they are putting the wheel on, so it's added like chaos of like, whoa. If you watch Saving Private Ryan, in the opening scene where they're hitting the beaches, that's chaotic movement on both sides. The actors are running, sprinting, everyone's the shit blowing up, it's f***ing chaos. But then the camera also has got a cranked up shutter speed, so all of the movement seems more jittery. And the camera's running with them. It's so like, you can barely see what's going on half the time, and that's the point, because that is how you would feel running onto that beach. It would be mental. You would just not know what's going on. Oh my God. And that's what we want our camera to do. We want our camera to be sitting there screaming, just going like, oh my God. It's simple, really. A little bit of calm. See, here we've got a film burn, just to lead us from one into the other. Without that, it's fine, it works. But with it, yeah, you get this glow coming off of his jacket. Again, there's movement, there's stuff happening. Little bits of visual interest that are just constantly keeping the tempo up. Even on these kind of more, you've also got to look up from Alex. You've got these little things that are always happening to always keep the energy up. Movement, flash, hyperlapse, push in. Movement, blocking out the sun. There we got, we got sun, we got no sun. There's stuff, there's textures, there's things happening. Bit of a boring shot, but then we go flash and blah, blah, blah. Again, here's that split diopter. Look how much work that split diopter is doing. Without that, that's just a shot of him smiling in the car, which like, it's fine, it's nice, it's good. But we're just using it as this textural move to get into our, you're just kind of going from textural move to textural move, and then in between you're doing those little storytelling bits, those little bits of, oh look, he's putting his balaclava on, we must be getting ready for the race. Flash. Don't even know what that is. Look at how mental that is. That's one clip. That's, again, we've got our difference white solid on there, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just 6 frames of I go from bottom left to right, to top right, to mid. I might be zooming in there as well. I think I am zooming in. I'm probably zooming in from like 24 to 100 mil with a dropped shutter. That's how that, and the split diopter on it. So it's just, and it's all for 6 shots, 6 frames. It's all just for 6 frames to be dropped into the video. And again, we add to it. We add that flash. We get a flash from Alex, bang, 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 and you can't even know what's happening. But, and we'll get on to sound design, that's going to be the back half of the video, because it's so important. All of this needs to combo with incredible sound design. If you watch this with no sound, it's just going to be like, meh. But all of that comboed, you see enough of a flash of that red and white that you know that's the track, and we're hearing an F1 car going, so you're like, it's feeling. You're not telling, you're just showing. You're giving people a feeling of, we are at a racetrack. Racing cars. Sorry, back to the amount of work this split diopter is using. Like, we're getting this weird, ghostly, it almost creates a transition out of Carlos Sainz's head here. Just by going, you're just moving it across the front of the lens. Bang. And again, we're going from movement to movement. We've got movement of that split diopter going across the lens, movement of a hyperlapse pushing into the garage, bang. More movement, even if it's hand on there, finger on there, wheels are moving, look up. Again, we've got that. I think I probably will have just been like, we could probably do with giving this even more drama, because it is that's that, like, helmet on, like we are actually about to go racing. Let's stick those light leaks back in there. Movement, eyes, bang, 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 flash cutscene to end. What have we got? Looks up. Start with the difference, white solid, We got 1, 2, 3, and that is blown out to hell. Nobody knows what's going on there, but it doesn't matter. You've got a tiny, like that's the car. That is the car. So you've got a tiny amount of car in there. So people are going to go, oh wow, cool, there's the car. The board, I assume we're at a low shutter there. We might not be. That might just be the split diopter again, causing all this gubbins. Let's go to full so we can have a fighting chance. Stock footage, fire and an exhaust, but again we go inverted to so it's blue and then it's what colour's that? Yellow, orange, blue and then it's orange. So it's all crazy. Car going past again. Movement. We've got drag shutter and we've got the car going past, and we end there. Probably could have put the white solid difference flash in the end. But I'm pretty sure, which is what we're about to get into now, the sound design at the end is a sort of like a whip up, which matches the movement of the car. And there we go. So all of that for 16 seconds. And you can see there's the sound design timeline. It's not actually that crazy. I've done crazier. But yeah, look, we've got, ignore all of the things above. This line here, V2, this is our V2 and V1. These are our clips. There's so much stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You get the point. There's probably like 40 or 50 clips for 15 seconds. Yeah, it is. You need to do a lot, and you need to put a lot of things in order to keep the movement up and keep it feeling kinetic and keep it feeling like it's got a lot of energy to it. And it's tough. It is tough. It's especially tough to do these on the day. That's why going back to like having your select, having your hyperlapse select, having your track select, having these things like, you know, matching all your W's, where you know you can then just come in. If you're like, oh, okay, I've done a few shots, I can do with some wipes. Here's a load of wipes of the track. What of those works? Let's take a couple of them, drop them in. Feels complicated. It feels so like, whoa, there's so much going on here, but there's like kind of not. So yeah, organization is key to being able to stay on top of this kind of stuff. But at things like a race weekend, you've got some time, you know, in the evenings, in the afternoons, like once you've wrapped your shooting, get onto those selects. The selects are the gospel. Like if you have 5 timelines that are quite specific as to what is in them, you can just jump into them, and every clip you know in those timelines is a usable clip. You're like, it makes your life so much easier, because then it's just down to you and your brain and the ability to be able to see that edit and be like, right, what we're going to do, we're going to go whip pan, hyperlapse, bang, music's going to go, we're going to drop it down, whips, another whip sequence, what have we got to pull into there, let's pull that into there, and then we're into the meat of it. And so like, yeah, no idea if any of this makes sense. Everyone's probably going, take a breath, Patrick, have some more beer and calm down. Maybe after the second beer it might all chill out a little bit more. Unlikely, because I f***ing love this shit. Second half of kinetic editing, which is not a half, it's probably 65%. It is more than the footage. It is more than the techniques. It is more than all of this. All of this is nothing without the sound design. That's the money right there. That's actually where this all starts to become like, oh wow, that's actually quite cool. It's audio visual, and I truly believe the audio is more important than the visual. I think the visual can only ever get you so far, but when it comes to feeling, when it comes to trying to evoke feelings, and there's endless experiments and videos. I could show you a clip now and be like, let's play all these different types of music over it, and it'll change the way you feel about it. It's like, we all know that is the case. But I also understand it's very tough. I was a musician, still am a musician, was for many years, still am, and will be for many years. My brain thinks in music, and it thinks in sound. I think it's why I've fallen into editing so happily. Not that I just edit, but when I do come to edit my own work, I'm starting from a point of having the knowledge that video editing moves just like music does, because we edit to music the vast majority of the time. And in music, especially sort of Western style music, we have been conditioned to recognize the patterns. We move in 4, 8, 16 bar phrases, and when you listen to a pop song especially, you'll be like, okay, here's the intro. The intro will be 4 bars, might be 8 bars. And then you got verse 1, again, 4, maybe 8 bars. You might have a double verse, so then you're going 16 bars. But it's, you know something's about to change. Even if you don't have a clue about music, you don't have any idea about music theory, you've never freaking read music in your life, you don't know what beats in a bar are, you still have in your brain something's about to change here. There's a bit of a spiel about music, but there could be so many videos on how to sound design and what to sound design and what you need. I think a lot of it does start from the music. I don't know how I teach you how to like love music and find music, but you've just got to be constantly looking. Like, you just got to be listening to music. You got to fall in love with music. If you want to be a good editor, you have to be in love with music. Like, you got to find stuff that you're not even thinking about using it for something. You've just got to find it, listen to it, enjoy it. Everything. You need to be in classical, rock, metal, weird from Norway, throat singing, cinematic music. Like, just listen to soundtracks and be like, wow. Just sit in an armchair, listen to a soundtrack and go, wow, I can see loads of weird stuff happening here. We could film something to this. You know, someone's like, has got a banana and they're killing people with the banana, but the music's this, and it'll be so strange. You've got to get weird with it, and that takes time, and it takes a lot of time of just peppering your brain with as much different stuff as you can, and just kind of letting it go into your subconscious, and then you can start kind of pulling on it. Like this Gorillaz Kendrick track, I just knew I knew it, and I had it in my brain, and I was like, we've got some hyperlapses. This is my thinking. This is the why, children. I'm going to tell you the why of what was happening here. I was sitting there and being like, right, what can we do? Hyperlapse. Okay, so you go like bam, 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 bam. And at that point, it's like, right, okay, that's the rhythm of the edit. I want to go bam, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what we're going to cut to. Bam, bow, ba, 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 ba. And then I thought, oh, what we you could go da 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 bo. Oh, and then my brain just pulled that out. It was like, right, Gorillaz, Feel Good remix with Kendrick Lamar, DNA. Because that could be sick. I think my initial thought was to go hyperlapse, I got, and then your royalties or loyalties, and then we're into it. I think I tried it initially and was like, it's too many hyperlapses, and they're not that interesting. I kind of want more. Let's get the car in there. And then I threw in more sound design. Was like, we don't have to totally match up to the 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just go like, which is a good point on these Kinetic edits, like on Instagram especially, like, because that is where a lot of us live. Like, you want to just give them 1.5 seconds of like smacking them in the face, just here we go, we're in, welcome to the edit. There's a bit of why, there's a bit of thinking. Here's a bit of how. What on earth is going on here? So, I don't actually know what the best way to do this is. Let's silence everything and work from the ground up. Bang, 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 bang. So, I've opened with a mechanical hit with digital reverb. The key to good sound design is layering. Like, we work in music, we work in a thing called frequency. So we have highs, lows, we have mids. I'm sure we're all aware of that. What you might not be aware of, you probably are aware, but maybe you're not. When you listen to music, certain things take up frequency, and certain frequencies come through much more easily. So low frequencies are actually quite hard to hear, especially in a big mix. So we often think about, I see a lot of people trying to use like hits and big reverb hits, but often it's a lot of the low end. And the low end's hard to like really come across. It can give you a good bass to a hit, so it can give you a good rumble, but it's not going to give you the actual hit, ironically, even though it's a big, bassy, like, smash. So what you want to do is fill the frequency spectrum. If you want a big hit, you're going to need some highs, some mids, and some lows to create a full-sounding hit. That high-end clickiness, that does a lot for the initial impact, and then you let the mids and the lows fade out to become the rumble. So it's often not about turning things up. It's often about bringing more. If you want more impact, it can a lot of the time be like, well, you probably just need more mids and highs into your section here that you want something to happen on. So if you're just like, there's a sound effect, that'll do. No. Because at the start here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, That's the track. So there's 4 sounds for those first few seconds, and then we've got another 1, 2, 3, 4 there. We've also got some scratch audio, so the actual car. That's the car there. The approach to filming a Kinetic edit is the exact same to sound designing it. Like, it's going to take a lot of stuff, and it's going to take a bit of trial and error. You're going to want to chuck a lot of things in, start to take some things out, look at the frequencies, be like, probably need more mids and highs because it's not got enough blah, 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 blah. Or if we're like, if we get rid of all the mids and highs and we drop the track down and we go lows, like that could be cool. So it's just a lot of trial and error. What have we got here? Oh, great sound. So again, this is from Ocular Sounds. I do a lot of stuff with the Ocular guys. They're very kind to me and they give me lots of stuff to try. They haven't paid me to say anything in this video, but I think they're awesome. So I think you should go and check them out. The Quantum Pack they've got is actually designed around, I think it's kind of like sci-fi type sounds, but I love it for car stuff because it's so, again, there's a lot of mids and highs. There's just a lot going on. It's not just like a boo. There's like, maybe I should make them with my mouth. You've got mids, highs, clicks. There's just so much layered into that sound. So we've got that. We've got an engine sound. Again, that's going, and I've actually panned that. That's panning, I think, from left to right. So you're going between the ears, which again, that's another thing that when you're sound designing, like mess around with that. Pan, put it in the left, put it in the right, put it going from the left to the right. In DaVinci, that's just on the little panner here. Super simple. Keyframe at the start, all the way to the left. Keyframe it at the end, all the way to the right, something like that. When it works in whole, you might not hear it explicitly, but you know it's there, and it's giving that feeling of movement. We're giving a feeling of movement with sound. There's an F1 car going flying past you. That's like, okay, cool, I feel like I'm there, great. Riser tension build. Again, I don't know what. I actually think there were some previous shots before this bit. I think I'd done an intro sequence that I decided not to put in here because it's maybe one for another video. But that's another good point though, because we've got things, as we'll see here, down here, reload hit with bass down, and that's going across 2 sets of clips. Like, you want things to be molding into the next sequences. You want reverb outs. You want things that are going, you want things falling off a cliff. You don't just want kind of hard stops. You don't just want like, here's a clip, here's a bit of sound to match to the clip. Yeah, you can match to the clip, but like, let's have it continue into the next thing so that we're sort of melding our 2 worlds together. Simple whoosh, what's happening here? Let's turn all that off. So there's a whoosh there, and I've actually doubled it up, I think, with this whoosh. But again, you've just got 2 different tones, and when they work together, it'll just sound even thicker. You get rid of 1. And that's a big hit. We've got hits, and we're creating tension, getting us ready for the next section. Because this is the intro. This is the, like, we've got excitement and hits, and then we've got a ramp up into bang, there's the drop, and we arrive at that drop through sound design. So yeah, everything together. Again, right, here we go. We've got something for everything we are seeing visually. We want something audibly. Now, and really, you should do this everywhere. Like here I could have put crowd cheering, you know, just get a bit of atmosphere, get a bit of, yeah, wow. Even though it's like they're walking down the side of the bus, like no one's there cheering. But that doesn't matter. It's about feeling, kids. Once again, we're back to the only thing that matters. Feeling. So what we got there? Obviously we've got the camera roll from earlier doing that. And what have we got under it? We've got that. We've got the lights doing the light sound. Boop. Again, that's one tiny little, it's like 2 frames worth of music, like of sound. It's a load of little things, and that's why it's hard to do. Because a load of little things that you still have to kind of do them well and sit them nicely and not have anything overpowering anything, or do have something overpowering something when it needs to overpower it. Like, it's a hard thing to explain. This is starting to drag on probably a bit too long, so let's just kind of rattle forward to the end. You can see everything that's going on here. Again, all of that is... There's quite a good thing to pick up on. Like, instead of just doing the... Where's our... So, instead of just doing the sound of the... I couldn't even tell you what they're called. The guns. The gun. The tyre-changing gun. Wow, Patrick, you're a terrible automotive enthusiast. So just having that zzz, let's think about it on the frequencies. We've got the zzz, but like, what would have more impact? Ooh, why don't we go for some contrast, kids? Like I was saying earlier, let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's get some mid and low end in there. Bang. So that's where this is going to come in. That bit there. That's what we want to hear. Boom. And then you layer those together. Brilliant. Just some simple whooshes, like we got some movement happening, got some whooshes. That's some garage noise, which I don't know if is actually real or if... Yeah, so I've pulled it. That's that. So I must have pulled that from... But again, it's high end, it's drill, it's... So it cuts through, because you don't just want... Just having like ambient from a garage isn't going to come through there, because it's going to get lost in the mix where there's too much mid and low. But that will cut through. What's that? That's a hit, shock. It's another quantum hit from Ocular Sounds. But it's that comboed, must be comboed with something. Yeah, here we go. Blaster rifle hit. This is from a fella called... Oh, this is awful. I'm not going to know his name now. DW. I should have written his whole thing. Dan? He makes an amazing automotive sound pack. Just go grab it as well. I will put it here in the glory of post-production. He makes some really nice hits and, yeah, good automotive pack. So that is being layered with this. And we've also got this about to happen. Loads going on there. And yeah, just some... That, I think, is the actual bit of audio that is on that scene. That is him just going... chucking it on. But what we're doing here, and this is a very good technique, I would highly advise using this quite a lot in your edits. The reverb out. A little tail. How you achieve this is for your final... So I've done it here already. You want to take like kind of... Oh, I've literally only done one frame here. So take one frame, duplicate it, so that's Option or Alt, click, drag down. I extend it out. Then come back over here, one keyframe on the volume, another keyframe one frame later, 2 frames later, 0. So you've now got a tiny bit of audio that just goes, and it drops off into nothing. Now the drop off into nothing is important because we're going to put a reverb on this clip, and you're then going to have a big gap where the reverb can work. Because if the clip's then done, the reverb will just stop. So you need a big gap with nothing happening so the reverb can just works on that one little couple of frames that you've still got, and then it disappears into nothing. So audio effects, reverb, chuck that on there. I just make this box, this is the room size, make the room size big, reverb time pretty big. And again, you play around with this. And what does that now sound like? That's the original thing. How do I... Let's mute Mr. Lamar. Isn't that cool, kids? And so there's quite a good thing to happen there. Sorry, this video is going to be so long. I'm going to apologise. We go... There's a very good example of like flowing sound design, like good flow in your sound design. We've got a reverb out, which is what that's called, where it goes reverbs out and away. And then as that's just died, we start ramping up into the next thing with a riser. So... Like, I don't know how to really explain it. You just kind of start to feel these things when you do it a lot. That's a good thing to do. Think about it like that. Like, we're going to go, wah. That's a cool thing to do. Suck everything out. Like, wah. And then some hits to finish. Simple, the same sorts of techniques that are happening here. We've got just hit. That's just a couple of hits and a riser right at the end. What's this? Where's our riser? Here it is. I actually think what I've done there is reversed that because it goes. So if you then reverse it, it's going to go. So you can basically create risers out of hits. So it's quite a cool thing to do. If you've got a hit, take it, do the hit at the start of the clip, take the hit, put it to the end of the clip, reverse it, keyframe your sound so that it goes well loud at the end. And then you got quite a cool, because it's in the same sonic world, it goes. And that's Kinetic Editing, episode 1, kids. I think this series might kill me, but I do think it's probably the best thing I can give to YouTube. I'm a operating, functioning director and shooter. I'd love to be doing loads of YouTube, but I'm shooting a lot, which is great. But I always want to try and break down work I have done to try and explain exactly what it is that I've done to get to where I am on all of these projects. So go to Instagram for moi, look at some of the things, send me a DM, be like, Paddy, I'd love to know exactly how you did all these things. Again, I'd like to kind of focus on the why a bit more than the how. I will always do the how. I will always show you what I've done and how I've done it. But I think the why is the important thing, because that's what will get you away from having to rely on watching idiots like me trying to muddle through and be like, well, this is what I did. I don't really know why I did it. I just sort of did it. And gets you into that mindset of just like starting to do it. Consume, 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 listen, learn, and then go do it yourselves, kids. Right. I think that's enough for YouTube for one day. See you in the next one, kiddies.